26%, we're charging them 24%. India, very, very tough, very, very tough.
We are screwed.
Prime Minister just...
Happy Liberation Day, America. Liberation from logic, liberation from economic good sense, liberation from your allies. It is pretty mad what Donald Trump is doing, but I have seen this before. I've seen this as a Brit with Brexit.
Hey folks, it's Liberation Day. According to President Trump, I'm not so sure what we're being liberated from.
This hurts me so much. From now on, you'll probably see so many brands raising their prices left and right, and it's not something that's coming out of greed. It's actually inevitable at this point.
To give you some perspective on how screwed the United States is because of Donald Trump's new tariffs, let me just read you this quote from a CNBC anchor who's currently watching the markets right now. Right now on CNBC, an anchor said, quote, "The market reaction after hours, I've never seen anything like. This is worse than the worst case scenario in terms of what the market expected."
So, Donald Trump just declared April 2nd Liberation Day, but instead of fireworks, we got tariffs. Lots of them. This isn't your standard, textbook trade spat. This is Trump going full throttle with reciprocal tariffs on, well, basically every country with a flag and a shipping port. The plan? Hit imports with new taxes to, in theory, bring jobs back home and make America the industrial powerhouse it used to be. The reality? A global economic migraine.
So, if you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA.
Liberation Day, according to President Trump, I'm not so sure what we're being liberated from. But to me, this appears to be a massive tax increase on the American people. He's going to put tariffs on many of the products and goods and things that families rely on. And it's going to make costs go up.
Happy Liberation Day, America. Liberation from logic, liberation from economic good sense, liberation from your allies. It is pretty mad what Donald Trump is doing, but I have seen this before. I've seen this as a Brit with Brexit, where the Brexiteers who were saying we should leave the EU and cut ourselves off from them thought that the British were exceptional, that the continent needed us more than we needed them, thought that we were being bullied and getting a bad deal from the whole world around us, and thought that by leaving, we would splinter everyone into sixes and sevens, and then they would have to come begging to us for better deals on our terms. And it didn't happen like that at all.
This hurts me so much. From now on, you'll probably see so many brands raising their prices left and right, and it's not something that's coming out of greed. It's actually inevitable at this point. We've been operating for 7+ years. We never raised prices, even though there were inflation, labor cost increase, so many macro market contexts that were kind of playing against us. We never wanted to pass that burden to you. We wanted to hold that out for as long as possible. But this new trade policy that was announced today by President Trump is going to change literally everything and for everyone.
26%, we're charging them 24%. India, very, very tough, very, very tough.
We are screwed.
Prime Minister just...
To give you some perspective on how screwed the United States is because of Donald Trump's new tariffs, let me just read you this quote from a CNBC anchor who's currently watching the markets right now. Right now on CNBC, an anchor said, quote, "The market reaction after hours, I've never seen anything like. This is worse than the worst case scenario in terms of what the market expected." Anchor is absolutely right. The markets are in free fall. It was down 3% in 5 minutes following Donald Trump's announcement. The dollar was also in free fall because investors are seeing the United States as an unreliable partner and an unreliable economy now. So the markets are in free fall, your portfolio, your retirement is getting ruined, and everything is about to become significantly more expensive.
I don't know where he got those numbers. They're quite different from numbers that we normally see. Those numbers are very different from numbers that I have seen from, for example, the World Trade Organizations or the UN or any of the other normal economic bodies. Economic effect, I think, is going to be very clear, an increase in prices. Tariffs are, after all, an additional cost. And the cost is borne typically by the consumer. In the last Trump administration, tariffs were put on washing machines and dryers. Prices here rose immediately to about the level of the
Donald Trump just announced a tariffs regime that will rise costs on almost everything America imports into the United States. Essentially, your prices are about to go up big time, and the economy likely will be decimated. Costs rise, it could see wages lowered, it could see jobs lost, and we're gonna see how the markets react.
What is this guy doing? You know, Trump ran on reducing prices and reducing inflation, and now this is what's happening. Markets are collapsing, prices are going up, your life gets harder because of Donald Trump. It's insanity.
Because even though half of our trade was with the EU, for them it was only, what was it? Somewhere between 7 and 13%. I can't remember which. But anyway, so the hit that we took from that trade separation was huge compared to any hit they took. And then also trade routes were rewired to accommodate for Brexit. So it used to be the case that flow of goods between Ireland and the continent of Europe would go through the UK. But very shortly after Brexit, there were just new sea lines that went around the UK coast and skipping out Wales, skipping out England, and then Ireland was connected with the rest of the European Union just like that.
And it's a mistake to be doing this, and he doesn't seem to be listening to anybody about how bad this is. I've talked to business leaders and economists about it, and I've had a hard time finding a single person who thinks this is a good idea. We're going to see some pain from this. You know, folks who are trying to afford rent and groceries and maybe trying to afford having their kid on a soccer or baseball team are going to be impacted. Prices are going to go up. And unfortunately, the president doesn't seem to understand the economic impact that this is going to have.
We're talking 10% baseline tariffs on all imports, up to 54% for goods from China. And yes, even Europe is catching these hands, 20% duties, courtesy of Team MAGA. Now if you're wondering, wait, isn't this like throwing a wrench into global supply chains right as we're trying to recover economically? Ding ding. That's what Wall Street, trade experts, and literally everyone with a calculator is saying. And guess who's not laughing? American manufacturers, restaurants, and farmers. The National Association of Manufacturers said they're trying to decode what this even means for their business. Meanwhile, restaurant owners are bracing for another hit, because nothing says fine dining like 40% more expensive tomatoes. Of course, Trump says he could have gone harder but didn't want to hurt other countries too much. Very considerate. Like someone breaking your window but handing you a discount on duct tape. Countries are already threatening to clap back. China's cooking up countermeasures, Europe's got its own retaliation playlist, and even Japan, usually the chill one in trade disputes, is side-eyeing Washington. Now here's the kicker, some viral videos are popping off on TikTok and Reels. You've got Americans asking why their iPhones just got pricier, and a Canadian creator literally packaging maple syrup to avoid incoming tariffs. It's hilarious, and tragic. And let's not ignore the real people in this mess. Workers on thin margins, small businesses already stressed out, and consumers who now have to pay more for, well, everything. It's a mess with receipts. If you're thinking, hey, this seems like something we've tried before, you're not wrong. It rhymes with Smoot Hawley, and it didn't end well. But history aside, Trump's betting that economic nationalism will win him another round at the top. Will it? Too early to call. But what's clear? The global trade rulebook just got torn up, and everybody's scrambling to see what page we're on. If you like this video, send it to someone who needs to see it. Before you scroll, smash that like button and the subscribe button. We've got more wild stories like this coming your way, so stay locked in.